Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about a tale of two AI policies. Valve has significantly rewritten Steam's rules for how developers disclose AI. They basically don't have to in some cases now, which is making some people very, very angry. But then we have San Diego Comic-Con not allowing people to use AI in their art show after pushback. And these rules only go into effect after social media has a shit fit. Did you notice that? That's always the case. So we're going to take a look at this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com for more Clownfish TV. We have turned off the super chats. If you guys would like to support us, then that's the best way to do it at more.clownfishtv.com. So we're going to talk about this because over the weekend we had two big stories drop about AI usage, mostly in terms of disclosure. Now, Steam did have people disclose that they used any AI tools, and apparently they're not requiring that anymore, or at least not in many cases. That's pissing some people off, but other devs are like, oh, thank God, because most of the tools we use have AI embedded into them anyway.
That's just it. It's like, the tools already have AI in it. So technically you could be using another program that isn't AI to do your stuff, but you're still using AI.
Right. I mean, if you're using Photoshop now, it's riddled with AI. Like, I mean, this is where it's going to get very, very hard to become a purist because so many of the tools that are industry standard now are adopting AI. So it might not be like, it's not like you going out to Chat GPT and being like, make me a game, Chat GPT, and it's going to be god awful. But so many of the tools, the developer tools or the art tools have it embedded. Even simple filters, they didn't call them AI, but now I've noticed that they're even calling like non-AI filters AI. When it was like it used to just be like, oh, it's upscaling.
Yeah.
Now it's AI upscaling because it sounds better, but it's the same damn filter.
But it's what you've been using and you're fine with it.
That you've been using, right? And somebody actually pointed that out. I thought it was pretty interesting. This person here, this is very appropriate. Rohan Carr says, makes sense because people should understand that we have to hate and bully generative AI, not other forms of AI that actually benefit a developer by streamlining some tedious functions. In short, using AI tool to crop complex stuff easily in Photoshop equals good. Using AI to generate concept art, textures, music, voiceover, etc., bad and eligible for public beheading. Where do you draw the line at? Because it's like I said, it's getting to a place now where it's going to be almost unavoidable, especially if you're working in a commercial setting and you have to compete with people who are using those tools. I mean, it's great to be like, oh, we're going to do everything by hand. I'm like, okay, well, by that logic, then, okay, you're going to make comic books. Cool. Go chop down a tree and then pulp the wood. And then you have to hand print. You know what? Let's not even use word processing. Let's not even use computers. Let's just go back to just dipping the pen and the ink and handwriting every manuscript, right?
You still have to print them.
No, you don't. You just have to copy them. Monks used to do it all the time. That's what you do. That's your life. So now you're going to spend all your life just, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, where do you draw the line? Well, people are, I think, getting their panties in a twist about AI. The people who are the most, I think, fundamentally misunderstand what it is, how it's been trained, what it's actually being used for. And I think they also overestimate the capabilities. And as someone who's been working with it for pretty much since the beginning, I've been working with it because I know this is where, everything's kind of going eventually. But it definitely has its limitations, and people think it's magic. They're like, it's just going to magically make all the comic books and all the video games by itself. I'm like, no, it's not.
Part of the reason people think that is because companies keep laying off people and saying it's because, AI now, we can do with that. And it's not really true. I mean, maybe someday, but not right now. And it is concerning too, because you have the whole environmental impact of AI. And but I'm saying, if you push it to the levels that these corporations want to, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because the corporations are looking at the profit, right? So they're looking at it purely as an exercise in cost cutting, whether it's people or paying for art or whatever it is, right? they're going to realize, and the one thing I do agree with is that the cost of AI, the data centers, they're going to realize at some point that the mundane stuff they're having AI do, it would be cheaper to just hire a person.
It really would be for most of it. And they're just trying to look at reasons to cost, but I think in the long run it's going to cost them more.
Yeah.
And even just in bad PR, if nothing else, because people in general are just turned against it.
Yeah. So, it's kind of funny because this has come from Deserto, and then I swear, we're going to get into what's actually going on here. Deserto, an indie dev, says he'll delete his Steam game after his girlfriend convinces him that AI is bad. I've realized the AI is not actually free, and it has major effects on the economy and the environment.
It really does have effects on the environment. I'm sorry. Get mad if you want.
Fuck those trees.
No,
I want free art.
I'm out there picking up trash, and then I even pick up the trash and divide it into recycling and everything else, because I'm just like, I'm not one of those people that, have to crunchy everything. But I think it is a big problem environmentally. It's starting to become one. But I am happy to hear that the current administration is going to make the corporations pay for their damn electric bills instead of letting it be foisted off upon all the consumers. So yay for that win. But go ahead, get to the point.
Let's get to the point.
6 minutes in.
6 minutes in. Yeah, we got to work on that.
People are like, oh, that's typical.
Yeah, it's very typical for us. Anyway, so this comes from Video Games Chronicle, and then we're going to talk about San Diego going the opposite direction. But Valve has significantly rewritten Steam's rules for how developers must disclose AI usage. The rewritten rules clarify that AI-powered tools do not require a disclosure. So this is and again, I want to say, as somebody who does work with AI, that there is a huge difference between using AI tools to assist you in making stuff, creating stuff, compiling stuff, whatever, and just being lazy and being like, hey, Chat GPT, whip me up whatever, me up a cover or whatever. Yeah, there's a huge difference. Valve has significantly rewritten Steam's guidelines for how developers must disclose the use of generative AI in their video games. Valve has made it clear that AI-powered tools such as code helpers do not require a disclosure, and that efficiency gains through the use of AI-powered dev tools is not the focus of its efforts. The first of the two types of AI that developers will have to disclose is AI to generate content for the game, whether that's within the game, on its store page, or in marketing materials. The second is AI content generated during gameplay, and whether the game in question generates AI-created images, audio, text, and other content. So they're saying if you're using a tool, AI-powered tool, so they realize, like, if you're using Photoshop or whatever it is, your compiler or whatever, it already has AI, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
This is also going to change, I'm telling you, within a year or two, because they are going to realize that 90% of the studios are using AI and the other 10% are lying about it.
Well, that's also, I think, true.
I think they're already lying about it. I think they are. And they're finding out now, like, people are spending all their time, like, going out trying to witch hunt people that are, using AI or whatever. But I'm like, is part of that trying to trip up the competition? Like, yeah, we'll demonize these people, even though we're doing the same thing. We'll put all the attention on them, and then we'll just sneak our game out, sneak it out to market or whatever.
But look over there,
Yeah, look over there. Since 2024, Valve has required developers to disclose on Steam whether generative AI was used in the creation of their games. Then this then appears on the game store page in a section called AI-generated content disclosure. They do the same thing on crowdfunders too. Like, I mean, as long as you're honest with people and you're just like, yeah, I used it for this or I used it for that, to filter, or I did, assistance or whatever. I think most people are okay on it. And some people are just like, I don't want it at all.
Well, in July, fine. That's your money.
That's fine. That's your choice.
Hey, we always say vote with your wallet. So,
Right. In July 2025, an analysis found that nearly 8,000 titles released on Steam in the first 6 months of 2025 had disclosed the use of generative AI, compared to around 1,000 during 2024. And again, it is going to be the new normal for making stuff. It's
not going to go away, guys.
It's not going away. What is going to happen, like I said, is we're going to realize that AI is a helpful tool, but it is not a replacement. And it's going to effectively be really fancy Photoshop, or really fancy, because people demonize Photoshop too. I'm old enough to remember that. They demonize Photoshop. They demonize digital tablets. If you work digitally in comics, oh my God, right? you were the devil because it wasn't fair because you got unlimited correction fluid. Basically, you could just,
I was gonna say unlimited erase, but yeah.
Yeah, you could just like, because back in the day to actually make a change to an inked comic book panel, it was a challenge. You either had to redraw the entire panel and paste it on the original page, or you have to get correction fluid, white out, whatever it is. Actually, white out cracks, but there are ways of doing it. But it was a massive pain in the ass. And then the next one was digital lettering and digital coloring and all this stuff. And now it's just normal. The comics are done almost entirely digital. Now, there are some holdouts, some old school guys that still do it, the old way, which is fine. Plus, they do it so that they can sell their originals. But it's normal now, but it was cheating. I remember people were like, it's cheating. Just like crowdfunding for the longest time.
I was going to bring up crowdfunding, guys.
Yeah, it was e-bagging. And if you did webcomics, you were an amateur, and the only reason you posted your stuff on the internet is nobody wanted to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all these things. And like, I've seen this so many times. I'm like, this is just the new flavor of how can we throw shade at, our competition, let's be honest, our competition, and also protect our own interests. And if your business model is doing, hand-drawn convention sketches or whatever it is, you're not going to be happy when somebody comes in with a wall of AI-generated art. I get it. But also, it's cool if you're stealing other people's characters.
Yeah, right?
That's okay.
Yes.
That's okay. It said, although Steam requires games that use generative AI in their development to disclose the use, such disclosures are voluntary. So the actual number of games created using generative AI is likely higher. Yes.
I agree, because I know they're going to get canceled if they admit it.
Exactly. And studios are just ripping the Band-Aid off now. They're like, yeah, we've been using it. Oh, yeah, we used AI like for this game that you guys love. And then they took away the awards from Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, because they used like 12 AI generated textures or some shit like that. And they got a hair up their ass and they wanted the virtue signals. So they're like, well, we're totally against AI, so we're going to take the awards away. It would be ironic if they gave the award to another game that actually used it, but they didn't disclose it. That'd be hilarious.
I'm sure that's what's going to happen if it hasn't happened already.
Yeah, and people are just going to keep their mouths shut about it. They are.
But those that are out in witch hunting, we talked about before, trying to find the AI, it doesn't always, AI checkers aren't always accurate because I told the story the other day. You took some covers you did years ago before AI was even a thing.
Yes.
And you ran the AI checker through on the cover, and they said that it was 85% AI.
Yes.
And it wasn't even AI because you did it before AI was even like available. They were like from 12, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I actually ran some of the shadow binders. I was curious because people were finding out that the AI art checker, was actually giving positives to Dungeons and Dragons art.
Digital art. It's because it's digital art. Whatever. Yeah.
So yeah, it was giving positives to D&D art from source books from like 2014. I'm like, I am really curious. Let me go find the checker in question and let me run my own work from that era, which was done digitally, through that checker and see what it says. And sure enough, it said that there's an 85% chance it was AI. I'm like, so yeah, if you're going by that, I don't know what to tell you because it's not always accurate. Anybody doing digital art for the most part is going to get hit with that. The only, I mean, it's so stupid. And you're exporting to Photoshop or whatever now. And if it's like, oh, this is a Photoshop file, it must be AI. I'm like, well, yeah, the person could have drawn it in Photoshop, or they could have drawn it in another program, brought it over to Photoshop. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There's so many variables in that, and it's going to get to a place where you're not going to be able to tell. It was easy to tell early on. I think that's what's freaking people out because they're like, it's just AI slop. I'm like, well, the stuff coming out now is not, and it's only going to get better. So, you're really gonna have to readjust, how you do your witch hunts. You're gonna, unless you actually see somebody doing it and realize that the really good stuff is not Chat GPT. That's amateur hour, right? These people are using the good stuff, but they said, according to last year's, now this is the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, right? This is the one where you weren't allowed to go to San Francisco because, you're going to get thrown in prison if you're from another country. They're going to deport you or some shit.
Yes, I remember.
So just keep in mind the audience here. The same Game Developers Conference where they were all standing in a field screaming because they're so stressed out about the industry. So keep that in mind. According to last year's GDC, a majority, 52% of developers reported working at companies that utilize generative AI tools. So they're narking on their companies, right? However, as usage has gone up, curiosity has gone down. Want to be AI curious? 9% of developers surveyed said their companies were interested in AI tools, down from 15% last year. 27% said their companies had no interest in using them. They're being put on the spot at that conference in San Francisco where these people are woke as fuck. They're not going to come out and say like, yeah, that last game, yeah, that was probably 35-40% AI.
They're not going to stop.
They're not going to stop using
Even
it.
the people that are in the company, themselves are personally against it. The company's mandating it. There's not much they can do other than maybe leak it.
I believe that the layoffs, and again, they're blaming AI or whatever, blaming the economy. I am really starting to wonder if, at least in the video game industry, they are just sorting out the people that are willing to work with the tools from the people who aren't.
Well, then again, that would be AI. Then you could credit AI for those.
Well, I guess in that case, yes, you're right. In that case, it would be an AI related layoff. It's like these people are going to be a pain in the ass. They're going to go running to the gaming press and they're going to complain about how, oh my God, guys, we used an AI filter in Photoshop or some shit like that, and it's killing the squirrels. The squirrels are dropping dead. They're falling out of the trees every time you fire up Chat GPT.
No. That would make me sad.
Would be very sad. Be very sad. So Carla Ortiz, I know I've heard of Carla. I think the comic book artist or something. Puerto Rican artist who works on films and TV, MCU and HBO. I know I've heard of them before. A terrible and gross decision by Valve Software. Customers.
Well, that's probably true. Customers. Marks.
Marks deserve to know how their games are made so they can decide whether they wish to support exploitative slop or not. Hiding this only causes distrust, damages the brand, and hurts the industry. Reverse the decision. It's not going to get reversed. Oh, yeah. They blocked the account, muted. There needs to be a box for generative AI and concepting the art, writing music, etc. Look, I'm going to tell you the truth. For the most part, the only people that care are people working in the industry. The customers, I don't think they give a shit.
But I don't think most do.
Some do. Most people don't know how the sausage is made. You show them a book, any book at Walmart, pick it off the shelf and say, hey, how is this made? What programs were used? What did they use to, is this digital or hand-drawn art on the cover? What? They're going to be like, oh, that's pretty. How much is it? $10. Okay, cool. They don't give a shit. And that's what's going to decide it, for better or for worse, the consumer. And then what's going to happen is they're going to start shaming the consumers for voting with their wallets and actually picking stuff that might have used AI, right? That's what they're afraid of. So this person here said, want to add to this, Steam claims their AI label was added specifically after talking with game developers. Game developers themselves want AI disclosures on games. No, some of them don't. Some of them think it's kind of dumb because they're like, everybody's using it anyway, so what's the deal? But I get it. You have a right to know how your stuff is made.
Like I said, we tell people to vote with their wallet if they're really, really anti-AI. Like, I'm a heck of a lot more anti than you are. Let's put it that way.
I am for its usage as a tool trained on work that people have consented to having it trained on. I'm not for it like, hey, Chat GPT, fire me up a Batman print. I'm going to take it to the con.
Scan all these people's other people's works and write something.
That I don't think is an ethical use. However, saying, hey, I work for this company and we have a lot of grunt work like in-betweens or, painting cells or whatever, and we could train the AI with our own stuff from our own library to do the tedious tasks. Like, hey, we don't want to draw, if it's DC, we don't want to draw the Batmobile 10 times per page. Let's, program in the Batmobile from every possible angle so the artist can just pull up the Batmobile, which we own, and we trained it on our stuff, and that saves the artist a lot of time. Yeah, I think that's an ethical use of it. I think that's an acceptable use of it. And that's what I think Disney's trying to do, but we'll see what happens. So San Diego Comic-Con, speaking of comics, they came under fire for allowing AI at their art show. Now, I think at the art show, that's a little weird. They said the convention's organizers stated AI-generated pieces may be displayed but not sold at the art show. Now they banned it completely, probably because of outlets like
BlueSky. They said it was BlueSky. It was BlueSky. That's why they banned it.
Yeah. So here's the the original rule, and then we'll go out to the ban. According to the official guidance from the show, here's the rule. Material produced by artificial intelligence may be placed in the show, but only as not for sale. It must be clearly marked as AI produced, not simply listed as a print. If one of the parameters in its creation was something similar to done in the style of, that information must be added to the description. If there are questions, the art show coordinator will be the sole judge of acceptability.
Wait, you have to put done in the style of. Why does anybody else have to do done in the style of when they steal everybody else's prints? I'm sure. Let me guess. You're allowed to steal everybody else's IP and put it in the show.
Probably, yeah. So here's what's so weird about this. Like, usually done in the style of or done after, they do, if an artist does like an homage cover, right? So if you're like, oh, I'm gonna
that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
done in the style of Steve Ditko or something if it's a Spider-Man.
But what I'm saying is you have to argue that you'd have to disclose that for any other IP you take. You'd think you'd have to disclose that kind of stuff. If you're allowed to use AI, are you allowed to use copyright infringement characters and stuff?
Well, no, they let that. That's totally fine. Like, that's cool.
I know the answer. It was rhetorical, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So unsurprising. Okay, so this is how I know Carla Ortiz. Unsurprisingly, comics industry professionals are less impressed, and many have taken to social media to voice their frustration with the policy. Carla Ortiz responded, Comic-Con should be a celebration of illustrators, comic artists, writers, and so on, elevating the actual craftsmen and women who make the works that fans love. Instead, it opens the door to slop. It can only be... Okay, so basically, Carla is worried about losing their job, is what's going on. So anyway, they caved, they buckled. There it is. The pushback on comic book BlueSky was vast and unrelenting. No normal people use BlueSky. This is like they're making their decisions based on BlueSky. Normal, everyday people do not use BlueSky, but whatever. It was vast and unrelenting from all areas of the industry after Carla Ortiz pointed out the policy. Okay, so she's one of these that goes through and looks for everything to be offended by. Later yesterday, the policy was changed. Material created by AI, either partially or wholly, is not allowed in the art show. If there are questions, the art show coordinator will be the sole judge. Yeah, so that's funny. That is. Look, they're afraid. They're afraid of their peers, right? And this is the new thing. Now, on the plus side, people who had very minor infractions in their eyes before are being left alone because now they're chasing the AI thing.
That's
so it's AI and ice. Those are the two sticking points this year. That's this year's flavor of outrage. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.